Welcome to the Fantasy Aceball podcast. This is your host, Tim Kanak. You can find me on X at Fantasy Aceball, and you can find my written work over on Fantasy Pros. So if you're watching this video, which is on the Tim Kanak, Kanak, on YouTube, then you've already seen that I have pulled up one of my articles. I have been posting on the X the last few days my updated and final top 25 redraft prospects for you. So we're going to start this podcast by going over my top redraft prospects for 2025. Then we're going to continue this podcast by going team by team. I did some podcasts with Mike Kurland through AL and NL. I'm just going to go through some of the bigger questions and some of the roster notes that we have for each team before we start the season. Just so you know, I'm recording this on Friday, March 21st, so we are about 1 week away from opening day for the MLB, and there are still some spring games this weekend, and there are still some unresolved rosters at the time of this recording. Just to kind of timestamp myself on my article and like where we're at on the recording. So I'm going to make you dizzy all on the YouTube as I scroll all the way down. We're going to start at the bottom. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to give you my names for deep leagues, for redraft leagues. So if you're in a deep league, I'm going to give you my prospect rankings number 75 through 51. We're starting on the bottom here, and I'm just going to give you the names. If you want to read about these prospects, you can find them on my top 150 prospect rankings, which you can either find on X if you want to search, or scrolling back up to the top. If you go to this article on Fantasy Pros, you can find it. Top fantasy baseball prospect rankings, comps, outlooks 2025, right? You can find this on Fantasy Pros if you search for it, or you can just search for my name and you'll see it pop up there. But from there are links to all my prospect rankings from 1 to 150 for my preseason prospect rankings. So you can go there and find all my prospect rankings and all my write-ups in one easy to find spot just by going to Fantasy Pros. So again, starting from the bottom, and if you want to follow along and read along, I recommend it. And I recommend going to Fantasy Pros and finding all these rankings where you can find the redraft rankings, you can find my positional rankings for prospects, and you can find my top 150. So here we go, 75 through 51 for redraft. Number 75 is Casey Hunt with the Milwaukee Brewers. 74, starting pitcher Tink Hence with the Cardinals. 73, starting pitcher Blade Tidwell with the Mets. 72, starting pitcher Chase Petty with the Reds. 71, Chase Burns with the Reds. So two Reds chases here. Number 70, Emiliano Teodo with the Rangers. And I actually like him more as a reliever than a starter. I think that this may be the reason that the Rangers haven't signed a closer yet, is that they want Teodo to take that spot at some point this year. Number 69, Parker Messick, lucky number 69 with the Cleveland Guardians starting pitcher there. He's probably like seventh man behind good old Joey Cantillo right now. 68, Jet Williams with the Mets, second base outfield. 67, Gunnar Hoglund, starting pitcher with the Athletics. 66, Chase McDermott, starting pitcher with the Baltimore Orioles. 65, Shea Whitcomb, third baseman with the Houston Astros. We saw him in the pros last year. 64, Colson Montgomery, shortstop with the White Sox. 63, Kyle Thiel, catcher with the White Sox. I swear I didn't do that on purpose. 62, Cooper Jorpe with the Cardinals. Maybe a starter, maybe a reliever. We'll talk more about him later. Carson Wiesenhunt is number 61, starting pitcher with the Giants. You can see actually a nice little Fantasy Pros error here if you're watching. 60, Jacob Melton, outfielder with the Houston Astros. 59, James Triantos, second baseman utility guy with the Cubs. Really, Birdie is filling this role right now. We'll talk more about that later. But in the event of like a Birdie injury or the fact that Birdie's 35 and he just passes off the roster. I was going to say passes away. Oops, I don't want to say that. But in case he's like off the Cubs roster, Triantos is like basically a mini Birdie. Could just fill right in. Number 58, Bryce Eldridge, first baseman with the Giants. 57, Bryce Matthews, shortstop with the Astros. 56, Jack Caglione, first baseman with the Royals. 55, Jacob Misiorowski, pitcher with the Brewers. We'll see if he's a starter or a reliever. 54, Luke Keeschel, can play pretty much anywhere with the Twins. 53, Jake Bloss, starter with the Blue Jays. 52, Richard Fitz, starter with the Red Sox, who's actually breaking camp. And 51, Chandler Simpson, outfielder with the Rays. And Fitz, the reason he's not ranked higher, I just don't think that he's effective in like, it depends on your fantasy league. If you're in like a 20-teamer, I guess. But if you're in like a 12-team fantasy league, I don't really want Richard Fitz. I don't think he's good enough to want him. I know like the stuff plus stuff on his like thing on his pitches is like way higher this year, but I'm just not really buying that. So our next tier here is next up. We've got number 50, Hyseung Kim with the Dodgers, middle infielder, tried him in outfield from Korea. 49, Edgar Quero with the White Sox, catcher. 48, Colby Thomas, outfielder for the Athletics. 47, Alejandro Osuna, outfielder with the Rangers, who had a nice year last year, had a very nice Arizona Fall League, and then had a nice spring. So I think if there's a outfield injury, like if Evan Carter gets hurt again, Osuna could be that guy to come up. I mean, they have Leote still there, but like if you want offense and you don't want just like a defensive speed guy, then Osuna would be the bat. 46, Carson Williams, shortstop with the Rays. 45, Elvis Martinez with the Blue Jays. 44, Adele Amador with the Rockies, second baseman. Travis Bazzana, second baseman with the Guardians. 42, AJ Smith-Shawver, starting pitcher with the Braves. I did not expect him to potentially break camp. It looks like he actually might, so keep an eye on that one. I might be wrong there. Maybe I should have had him in the top 25. 41, third baseman Jace Young with the Tigers. 40, Thomas Sajaci, multi-position guy with the Cardinals. 39, the reason he didn't make the roster is because they couldn't trade Arenado. That's like literally why he's not in the majors right now, because he ended in the majors last year and was pretty good and had a really good fall league. So the whole reason he's not on the roster is that. 39, Tyler Locklear with the Mariners. I'm not a huge Locklear guy. He's like barely in my top 150, but I do think that, and he hits the ball really hard. He hit the ball like 116 in the spring, but I do think that there's like such an opening because the Mariners offense sucks that he should get pretty good playing time this year. 38, Dalton Rushing, catcher, outfielder with Dodgers, just no room. 37, Joey Cantillo, starting pitcher with the Guardians. 36, Brandon Sprout, starting pitcher with the Mets. 35, Tyler Black, first base DH with the Brewers. Wish he could play second. 34, Craig Yoho, reliever with the Brewers. 33, Tirso Ornelas, outfielder with the Padres. 32, starting pitcher Jack Leiter with the Rangers. 31, starting pitcher Caden Dana with the Angels. I know Leiter's breaking camp. I just think Dana's better. 30, Chase DeLauder, outfielder with the Guardians, always hurt. 29, Seth Halverson, reliever with the Rockies, might break camp, might close, will break camp, should close. 28, Chase DeLauder actually might break camp. Like he was looking really rough at the time that I wrote this article, and then he had a really good start the other day with like 7 Ks. So DeLauder might actually break camp. 27, Kobe Mayo, third baseman with the Orioles. And 26, Drake Baldwin, catcher with the Braves, who is breaking camp, and we'll talk more about that later. Now let's get to the top 25 real quick. I'm not going to go through all these write-ups. If you are watching on the YouTube, you can see I have my write-ups on here. You can go to Fantasy Pros or you can go on X and you can find my write-ups if you want to check that out. It's literally the same writings on both of those. Fantasy Pros just has a bunch of like pretty colors and stuff, so it actually looks a lot better than my Word document to copy paste that you see on X. So I recommend checking out those write-ups as you follow along. Or if you're watching on YouTube, if you want to just pause and read it, like if you're that lazy, sure, do it. 25, Caleb Durbin, Brewers, multi-position guy. You read more about it. Comp, John Birdie meets Ryan Bliss. 24, Luis Angel Acuna, second base outfielder, making the roster. Comp, Andres Jimenez with a Ronald Acuna-like batting stance. Number 23, because it's his brother. 23, Logan Henderson with the Brewers. I put Comp, Spencer Strider. His stuff is not nearly as good. That's why I put Spencer Strider light. He has a similar fastball that is only like 95, 96 instead of 98, 99. Really good changeup, but like kind of missing the breaking pitches here for Logan Henderson. But I don't think he's going to break camp now. When I wrote this, I thought he was going to break camp, but it seems like Brennan Woodruff is pretty close. I think we're going to talk about that later, so I don't want to get too much into it now. 22, Zach DeZenzo with the Astros. And this is hilarious because I put a bigger, more athletic Chas McCormick, who he's trying to actually beat in his position ranking. That is a complete accident there. I did not do that on purpose. 21, Bubba Chandler, comp Luis Hill with a Zach Wheeler slider. Number 20, Nick Kurtz, Joey Votto-esque profile. 19, Emmanuel Rodriguez. Rafael Devers meets Edouard Julian. 18, 18, Cam Smith. Josh Young with shades of Manny Machado, but he might be an outfielder now. 17, Roman Anthony's and Jared Kelnick with a better eye. So hopefully better than better outcome than Jared Kelnick prospect. Number 16, Michael McGreevy, Jameson Tyone Light. Number 15, Thomas Harrington with the Pirates, Compass Nick Martinez. 14, Andrew Painter with the Phillies, a bigger Jacob deGrom, or a Tyler Glass now with more control. I really think Andrew Painter is going to be an absolute beast. Number 13, Christian Moore. Connor Norby profile shades of Alex Bregman, Alec Baldwin, Alex Bregman merge, I guess. Number 12, Sean Burke, Compass Jack Flaherty with worse control. 11, Rhett Lauder, Compass Logan Webb. Number 10, Augustine Ramirez, Compass Gary Sanchez with speed. Number 9, Kumar Rocker, Compass Hunter Green with a better slider and a worse fastball. Number 8, Quinn Matthews, Compass Cole Reagan's light. Number 7, Jacob Wilson, more athletic. Luis Arias is the comp. Number 6, Jordan Lawler. I saw someone call him White Arias. That might have been Doc. I think he called him like White Arias, which is hilarious. Number 6, Jordan Lawler. Compass Trey Turner light with some Derek Jeter. I really like Lawler. Like the dude just needs he needs to stay healthy and he needs an opening. Number 5, Jackson Jobe, Compass George Kirby. Let's see if he gets the control back. He had really good control in 2023, fell off in 2024. I made this comp based on the 2023, and I've kind of just stuck it because I don't want to ding a guy for 1 year. So let's see. Number 4, Matt Shaw. My comp is Jonathan India with more speed. I actually think also the Job comp makes sense because Kirby doesn't get a lot of Ks despite having really good stuff. And I think Joe might be in that same kind of boat. Number 3, Dylan Cruz, Nick Castellanos with speed. Number 2, Christian Campbell, bigger Gleyber Torres with more speed and better plate skills. And number 1, Jason Dominguez, switch hitting Mookie Betts light. And last is Roki Sasaki. He's my cheat number 1. Comp is Bryce Miller-esque with better stuff. I mean, we'll see. The command was pretty bad the other day, but he has a 107 F control based on his Japan correlation from my correlation charts. And my correlations for my Japanese pitchers have been really good because I was pretty much spot on like Yamamoto, Imanaga, like all the Japanese pitchers who have come over the last couple of years. I've been really spot on with my F scores. So I'm going to call that a fluke, even though like my boy John Anderson and like I've heard a bunch of other people talking crap that Roki's not as good as we thought. Even like Welsh was saying, oh, I never thought, like I wasn't sure that Roki was going to be that good anyway. I'm not going to really care about one start, 3 innings or whatever in international, even though it was Japan. Like, I don't know, like he's been in the US for months now. So like, that's still going to throw you off like pitching and weird time or whatever. So I don't know. I give him the benefit of the doubt for freaking 3 innings. So anyway, that's the article. I recommend checking it out if you want to read the whole thing. There's a lot of good stuff in there. And then plus you can also check out the links for the top 150. Now, what we are going to do is I'm going to screen mirror. If you are on the YouTube and you're watching, we are going to go ahead and share my screen on Roster Resource because we're going to go through these rosters together and look at these rosters. I think they're quite interesting. And I'm going to put this so it's a little bigger and you see my face only in the corner. So let's look at what the projected rosters are for the Athletics right now. So you can see looking on the roster, Jacob Wilson is projected to hit 9th, which I think is a little bit silly. And what I want to bring up is for the Athletics, my main question is Jacob Wilson's power gains for real? You can see in spring, he had a 200 BABIP, which is really weird for a guy who has run like 400 and 500 BABIPs in the minors. 261 batting average despite a 200 BABIP, which is insane. Only a 2% walk rate, a 4% K rate. That's like super Steven Kwan-esque. Like nobody else does that except for like Steven Kwan. Like look at this, 2.6% swinging strike rate in 46 at bats. That is friggin' ridiculous, I'll tell you. But the 4 bombs, like there's no way. This dude had an 84 and 85 average exit velocity last year. His max was like 106. So even if he is like upped his max EV to like 108 or 109 or something, which is probably his peak, he's still even at best like a high teens home run guy. So like don't try to translate this and be like, oh, 4 bombs and 46 plate appearances. That means that he's going to get 25 homers this year or something when you extrapolate that. No, probably not. If and you can see even the projection systems only have like 6, 8, 9. I think if you got like 12 or 13 homers from him over the season, even in the minor league stadium, that's pretty solid. Like I would take that. If you get like 13 homers from him with a 300 average, because he's probably going to hit that. Like I think all these batting averages are going to be low. He's going to hit 300. I'm like fairly certain. But yeah, I think that the power that you're seeing is a little fake, a little of it's real. Like if you get a Steven Kwan season from him, like that's pretty awesome. So especially at shortstop, so I would take that. Even though he's white Arias, I think it's more like white shortstop Steven Kwan is like a more accurate comp if you want to go that way. So we are going to now move away from the Athletics. Actually, no, we are going to now. I'm going to give you my top prospect for the Athletics for this year for redraft. It is Jacob Wilson, who we just talked about. Wow, surprise, surprise. Jacob Wilson, top prospect for the Oakland Athletics, or Sacramento Athletics. Because as we go through these, I'm going to give you my top redraft prospect for each team. That is my top redraft prospect, not my top prospect. Please do not confuse the two. I'm sure I'll still get like 6 comments on Twitter saying, "Hey, why do you think?" I saw that you think that X and X is better than Y and Y. Like, no, I'm not saying that they're better for long term. I'm saying that they're better for this year, for redraft, for 2025 alone. So let's look at Baltimore's team real quick here as I pull that up. Baltimore Orioles, they just signed, by the way, Kyle Gibson. So Cade Povich, you can just snap right out of there. Orioles are going like full Cardinals right now, where they're going to have in their rotation 41-year-old Charlie Morton, like 40-year-old or whatever Kyle Gibson, 36-year-old Sugano. I don't understand the teams. They're just trying to eat innings. You don't eat innings if you're trying to win a World Series. I'm sorry. Like, I get it. You have Grayson Rodriguez, so you expect him to be your ace. You have Kyle Bradish, who's going to be ready for the playoffs. So, hopefully, quote unquote, ready for the playoffs. We thought the same thing about Walker Buehler a couple of years ago, right? Don't forget that. But Kyle Bradish, we expect to be ready for the playoffs. So you say, okay, we already have an ace and a number 2. We're playoff ready. We don't need more than that. That's kind of the cheap way. And then you're going to hope that Eflin is a number 3 and Morton is a number 4. And then one of Povich or McDermott or whatever like plays up. Like, I get it. You're being cheap, but I think that the Orioles are still going to eventually need to trade for a starter at the deadline. Why they didn't trade for Dylan Cease or Michael King when they're available, like, is beyond me. Unless, the Padres are probably asking for too much. But I don't know. Like, you have Kobe Mayo in AAA right now. Hesse Kjerstad's on the bench. Like, what are you doing here? You still have like tons of prospects like Bradfield Jr. You've got so many outfielders. I can't even think of them all off the top of my head. I've got like 5 Orioles outfielders, I feel like, in my top 200. So, I don't understand. But let's go to Baltimore's top prospect now for this year. So my top Orioles prospect is going to be Kobe Mayo. Even though he's not up right now, I think he's the top redraft prospect with the Orioles org for the season. Not Cade Povich, not Chase McDermott, not any of these other a million guys that I've mentioned. It is Kobe Mayo. So let us go now to the Boston Red Sox. Boston Red Sox looks like, and I love this, Christian Campbell. You see it right here. I love this. He is the starting second baseman hit in the 8 hole. I don't even care where he's playing as long as he's starting to start the season. I love that. He had not the best camp. Yes. You see 175. He did hit a home run in their spring breakout game, which doesn't count on this. He also stole a base. I guess that doesn't count either. So when you look at these stats, it looks pretty crappy, but he is really, really good. I don't really care about any of this, to be honest. Like, he just lights up my F scores. I think all these projections, if he's getting full-time playing time, they're all wrong. Like, you've got a 270 hitter who's gonna go 2020 as a rookie, in my opinion, with Christian Campbell. So, I think the Red Sox are smart and realize that. So, I love that. Richard Fitz also is gonna break camp, so that's something interesting to note. They've got a lot of injuries in this rotation at the moment between Bayo, Cutter Crawford, Giolito. Even though there were reports like 3 weeks ago saying Giolito is going to be ready for opening day, guess not. So yeah, Richard Fitz. I already mentioned him earlier. He might stick around. His stuff has been like ridiculous on like some of the Statcast things that we've seen so far from spring training, but that's also against like minor leaguers. So take that with a grain of salt. I think Fitz is good, but I don't think he's great. I think he's just like, fantasy replacement average. When will Roman or Anthony arrive? This is an interesting one, right? When is Roman Anthony going to come up? He had a really strong spring, but you have Christian Campbell now on the team, right? From what they say, you've got Abreu who's hurt, but I mean he'll be up eventually. Christian Campbell can also play outfield. You've got Duran, you have Rafaela, you still have what's his face at DH, who's not even on here right now. Like Devers could end up moving somewhere because they've got what's his face. Can't think of his name. The Japanese dude. Anyway, you've got him, and then you also have like all these guys. So I think Roman Anthony maybe comes up in like June or July. Maybe the Red Sox at some point need to make a trade, and they trade someone for like Abreu or something to clear room. And one of these other guys, Roman Anthony can then make room and come up. So just my thoughts on it. And then it looks like Aroldis Chapman is locked in for the closer. I think Slayton would be next up, not Hendricks. That's just my opinion. I don't think Hendricks is. Maybe he's going to snack some saves, but I don't think he's going to close, like be the closer. Oh, here it is. Masataka Yoshida. That's exactly who I was thinking of instead of just that Japanese dude. But whatever. Let's go to the next group here. Oh, Red Sox top redraft prospect, obviously Christian Campbell. So Chicago White Sox is our next team to look at. This is a really weird team. You see, like Mike Topman is leading off in a platoon. Benintendi's hitting third, also projected to be in a platoon. These are my main questions for the White Sox. Is Shane Smith going to be worth buying? Oh, look, I think did he just turn 25 today? Was it his birthday? So Shane Smith, looking at him, had a really strong spring on back of baseball card stats, but he only had a 10.9% swinging strike rate and a 24.8 CSW. So everyone's like, oh, look at Shane Smith. He's throwing 96. This is fantastic. I think he's going to play better as a reliever. I don't think he's going to last as a starter, to be honest with you. Like, I think he's going to start some games here at the beginning of the season, and then the White Sox just have a ton of dudes down in AAA who are like better prospects than Shane Smith. And then I think Shane Smith ends up back in the bullpen. Like, I think they're going to keep him. I mean, he's a Rule 5 guy. I just think he's starting in the rotation, and he'll move back to the pen at some point. This is interesting. We have Mike Clevenger as the possible closer. So there's some really like good deep league value here on snagging closer Mike Clevenger. Mike Clevenger has not been good in a while as a starter, but as a reliever, this stuff might play up. Look at that. 4 innings, 46.2 K minus walk rate. So, who cares about that? In 4 innings, he had 15 strikeouts. Sorry. 4 innings, he had, okay, I messed that up. 6 strikeouts with 0 walks. Still good. Very good. Mike Clevenger, maybe he's a closer. Like, I've actually thought that for a couple of years now, that he would be a better closer, but or a better reliever anyway. But there might be some hidden Mike Clevenger value here, so I would look into that in deep leagues. And then the next thing is Miguel Vargas. Miguel Vargas, they traded a lot to get him, right? They traded Fetty. They could have had Tommy Edman, instead they took this. So, and apparently they could have Luke Keeschel too. It's like the other rumor. So let's show you Miguel Vargas, strong spring in 36 at bats. He hit 333, 419, 472 with a homer. So maybe Miguel Vargas is back. He's been very, very bad in the majors, but let's not forget that he was like a former top 10 or 20 prospect on a lot of prospect rankings back in like 2023. You can see like 2023, 2022, he had really strong prospect seasons, like 2020 type stuff with really good OBPs. So maybe he figured it out. I mean, this spring, 14% walk rate, 9% K rate. So I think Miguel Vargas is like a deeply name to watch for this season. Now, the Chicago White Sox, their prospect is Sean Burke. That is their top redraft prospect. I mean, the dude is literally starting opening day for them. So, Sean Burke, top redraft prospect for the Chicago White Sox for 2025. Now, Cleveland Guardians, I don't know why I did the A. They're not Canadian. But how hard will Kyle Manzardo be platooned in the 3-hole? You see here, roster resource has him in a platoon with John Kenzie Noel. Are they really going to platoon Manzardo? Let's look here. Manzardo this spring hit 326, 367, 609 with 3 bombs. But let's look at Manzardo's career splits, shall we? We can see right here that as basically versus righties, he hit this is last year only, he hit 238, and versus lefties, 211. Versus righties, he had 5 bombs. Versus lefties, he had 0 bombs. Let's look for OPS. Let's look at some advanced stats. So against righties, Manzardo had a 104 WRC plus last year, and against lefties, a 60. But if they believe in Manzardo, are they really going to platoon him? I don't really understand that, why they would do that. I would have to pull up like a whole nother page here, like John Anderson's pages or something, if I really wanted to look at his minor league splits. I'm not going to do that because I don't feel like opening another window. So we're going to move on from this point to the Detroit Tigers. So, you know what? I have to give you a prospect, don't I? So, Cleveland Guardians redraft prospect of the year, in my mind, is Joey Cantillo. That is the 2025 redraft prospect of the year for the Cleveland Guardians. Now, let's look at Detroit. The Detroit Tigers. Main question for me, who's on third? Right now, you got Javier Baez playing third after probably another horrendous spring. 214 batting average, Javier Baez this spring. So actually a 99 WRC plus. Look at that. That's better than any of his seasons since he's signed with Detroit. So maybe he's back. I doubt it highly. But anyway, I think that the reason that the Tigers decided to send Jace Young down is that Matt Vierling is very close to a return from injury. The rumor is that he's going to start the season on the IL, but that means he's already rehabbing, so he's probably back like after the 10 days. And they're like, why are we going to waste Jace Young's clock and like add service time when Matt Vierling is about to be ready? So I think that's what's happening with the Detroit Tigers, especially since they are actually going to be aggressive with their boy Jackson Jobe. So Jobe is projected to make the rotation with Maeda in the pen now. So pretty interesting here. But you can see that there is no Kiter Montero whatsoever on this list. Kiter Montero actually had a pretty strong spring. Let's pull him up real quick. So I don't really understand this move fully. High walk rate, almost 12%, but a 31% K rate is pretty sick with a 15.1% swing strike rate and a 34% CSW. That is quite insane. 335 xFIP here this spring. So Kiter Montero probably should be in the rotation. He probably should be in many rotations because that's an awesome spring that he had put up. But it looks like he's like the 6th man. He should at least be in the bullpen. Like, that's so lame. Like, what are you doing? You don't need the service time. He's already thrown 98 innings. But, whatever. I guess you like want to keep depth. Maybe Jobe is not going to pitch the whole season. Or Mize, they don't expect to pitch a ton of innings, so Montero will be up at that point. I guess would be my call on what they're doing here. Otherwise, I don't really understand that. But their pen is pretty full. They've got a ton of vets in this pen. They've got so many guys between Canely and Brebbia now that and Maeda in the pen. There's just no room to add another pen pitcher really. So Poor Kiter Montero, really strong spring and still didn't break the cut. Still didn't make the cut, but I think he's still going to pitch a lot of innings this year. Like I wouldn't even be surprised if he pitched more innings than Casey Mize this year. Just wouldn't be. So let's go to the Houston Astros. Obviously Jack and Joe is redraft prospect of the year for the Tigers. Let's go to Houston Astros here. Houston Astros. I actually have some prospect notes because I saw them 2 games this spring. So we can see their roster right here. Pretty interesting that I don't understand that Dubon at second base, Chas McCormick at right field. McCormick sucks. So did he even have a good spring? 26% walk rate against a 10% K rate. Small sample size here, only 28 at bats. 4 steals though from McCormick. So the dude was running wild. I guess when he was on base, he did what he could with it. But he did only hit 143 this spring, so I really don't understand why he would play over DeZenzo. DeZenzo also had more at-bats, so that one doesn't make sense to me. I do not think Cam Smith is breaking camp. The people that think Cam Smith is going to break camp and play right field are silly. Cam Smith was just drafted. DeZenzo's older. DeZenzo is not as good defensively. It makes more sense to move DeZenzo to the outfield and leave Cam Smith at third for long term, and then move Paredes to second base. That's what I would do if I'm the Astros as a business owner. I say put Chas McCormick as our 5th outfielder, 4th outfielder, whatever, because he can play other positions. Let DeZenzo start in right field. Cam Smith to AA, third base. Play him at third. When he's ready, we bring Cam Smith up to play third, move Paredes to second, and bye-bye Mauricio Dubon. You're back to super util. That's what I'm doing if I'm the Astros. I'm just telling you that's what I think is going to happen. If you don't believe me, then whatever. The Astros also still have Shea Whitcomb, which is why you might say, why wouldn't Cam Smith be in AAA? Shea Whitcomb is pretty darn good. I saw him, and he looked pretty good when I saw him. He was hitting the ball really hard. He got a little bit unlucky this spring overall in his statistics. You can see here that he only hit 231. But this dude hits the ball really hard. You see 1 bomb, 1 steal. I actually saw his bomb, I think, live. 40% K rate. That's pretty terrible. But last year in AAA, he had 293 with, you see, only a 320 BABIP, so it's not like it's lucky. Near 112 max EV, almost a 90 average EV with 25 homers and 26 steals. Shea Whitcomb is good. That's at AAA and 413 at bats. He would have hit 30-30. If they just let him stay AAA the whole season, he would have gone 30-30. So Shea Whitcomb's good. They need to give him a chance. And he's also 26 years old. So I think he's going to get a chance before Cam Smith even. I'm going to make a lot of people sad by saying this. And people are going to be like, no, Cam Smith's a hiring prospect. But I'm just telling you that if I'm the Astros, that's what I'm doing. Because you want to try to make your prospects, you want to turn them into as much value as possible so you have assets that you can then move. Because guess what? The Astros don't have a lot of pitching depth. Like, they've got Ronel Blanco as their 3rd starter. Arrighetti is good, but not great. People are overdrafting him this year. Hayden Wesniewski could not even make the rotation for the Cubs, and the Cubs didn't have a good rotation. Like Kyle Hendricks was pitching over him. So, they're hoping Lance McCullers plays out. I'm just being real here. You got Luis Garcia and Christian Javier both coming off of injuries. When are they going to come back? Like, Javier's not playing at all this year. Luis Garcia should be back at some point, like May, June, but you never know with TJ recoveries. So I would just, take that for a grain of salt. I think that's what's happening with Houston. So Houston's prospect of the year is still going to be Cam Smith, though. So there you go. You're like, what the hell are you talking about? You just talk crap. You just said Cam Smith's not coming up. All this stuff's going to happen. And then Cam Smith is still going to be the prospect of the year. The dude has done nothing but rake. He and Nick Kurtz have basically been like Wyatt Langford trajectory from last year since they've been in the minors. So I don't think that's stopping. I just think that the Astros have a lot of pieces and they want to try to get value out of those pieces before they just move to their best option. So I think that's what's going to happen. even though I really still like DeZenzo. I think DeZenzo is a solid prospect. So he's a top 100 prospect for me. Anywho, let us go to the Kansas City Royals now, shall we? Kansas City Royals. The only thing I have on this team, this is like pretty much exactly what I expected. Like, there's nothing surprising whatsoever with the Royals team breaking camp to me. Like, Bubic has been good. Like, I kind of predicted that. Like, I was in Bubic on Bubic early in a lot of leagues. The main thing here is Ursig versus Estevez. Who is going to win this job and who's going to keep it? You can see Estevez, a beautiful 6.7% K minus walk rate, but it's only 3 innings, so who cares? And then Lucas Ursig, you see, it pitched 8 innings this spring, 15.4 K minus walk, tons of walks, man. What happened? Look at that, 33.3% first pitch strike rate. That's quite terrible. By the way, you can see when you're looking at this how I do my Fangraphs dashboard. If you want to copy it, feel free. I don't really care. Have fun with that. So let us now go to, I have to give you a prospect. Who's the prospect of the year for the Royals? This is a tough one because the Royals have a lot of guys like on the periphery, and I don't know when anyone's going to come up. I did not even give Jack Caglione F scores because I didn't think he was going to come up this year, but I've changed my tune on that. I think he's up in like July or August. Man, you know what? Yeah, I think he's up in July or August. I think he's going to make it. He's going to hit too many home runs. And I think the Royals are going to, like the AL Central, I think is going to be very competitive, like surprisingly competitive. And I feel like the Royals are going to get to a point where they're like, hey, if we really want to make a run at this, we need Jack. So I think they're going to bring him up, even though it's going to cost them money long term. I think that's what happens. As you get my predictions here, we'll come back and listen to this episode next year and be like, how between the Astros, the Royals, like all these predictions Tim's making, like how accurate are these? So now we're back. We're over to the LA Angels. Really, the only thing that matters with this depth chart here is Christian Campbell going to break camp? Roster Resource thinks no, but every article I read thinks yes. Do the Angels care about JD Davis? I doubt it. I think they do care about Tim Anderson because for whatever reason, Ron Washington is like obsessed with Tim Anderson. I don't really get that, but whatever. I think JD Davis doesn't make the roster. I think Christian Moore makes the roster. And if Christian Moore makes the roster, I think he is their starting second baseman. And I think that means Luis Rengifo is their super sub moving all over the place. He'll get some shortstop. He'll get some second. He'll get some third. He'll be getting all those reps. So I think that is what's going to happen. Christian Moore, let's look at him real quick to show you his spring. He's had a pretty decent spring here. Christian Moore. Christian Moore. Oh, look at that. 0 homers, 1 steal. 238. 333, 310. That's all right. Tons of Ks, 31% K rate. I talked to John Anderson about that. I think he's going to get a bunch of Ks. These are all abnormal. Like, look at his minor league track record. Ground ball rating is like 30%, but in the minor or in spring training, 67%. Like, there's some weird batted ball stuff going on. Like, that's not what he does. So, definitely abnormal spring for him. But I think that he's still, because the Angels like to push guys, he's still going to break. So, that's what's up there. Minnesota Twinkies. Christian Moore is going to be their prospect of the year. Minnesota Twinkies. I look at this team. I don't understand why they did this deal here. How long will Simeon Woods Richardson, SWR, and Chris Paddock stick around? So SWR, a 15.2 K minus walk, actually pretty decent here this spring. 0.82 ERA. He actually deserved to make the team. I'm not going to lie. He had a good spring. He deserved to make it. Even though I don't think he's good. I think he's like a number 5 starter. So you don't want to just throw that away. You know what I mean? Like I think he's going to stick. I think he's sticking all year unless there's an injury. Because like I said, he's a number 5 starter. You don't a bad number 4 or a number 5 starter. You don't want to just throw that away. Like he's going to be eating innings for you for 6 years here. Chris Paddock, though, that's a guy you can throw away or throw in the pen. Paddock would actually really play up in the pen. We actually saw that when he came back from TJ, this little 2023 5-inning stint. He was pretty good. Look at that. This spring, he actually was decent. 23.3 came on his walk rate. He never walks anyone anyway, so, pretty standard for him. But he actually did have a good spring. So, I mean, I guess you can't fault them for trying to get their money's worth out of Paddock, but I think that he eventually is not going to make it. I mean, like his career high in innings since his rookie year is 108. So I think now the main thing is who's going to come next? Is it going to be Zebby Matthews or is it going to be David Festa? Zebby Matthews had the best spring out of all these guys. He had a phenomenal spring. Like he should have made the team with these numbers here. Like, look at this 34.4 K minus walk rate. That's freaking insane. I know it's small sample size, but that's insane. 13% swing strike rate, backing it up, 33% CSW. So I think Zebby should be the first one up, but it might be Festa. I love both of these guys, by the way. I love Zebby and Festa. I have a team where I actually own both of them in a 16-team Otnu league. So Festa, you can see 358 Sierra last year against this 490 ERA. I don't really care about his ERA this spring. His 11 innings, 14.8 K minus walk, pretty good. He was not throwing first pitch strikes. That's sloppy. That's probably why he was getting rocked in his whip because he was behind in all his counts. That would be my guess. First pitch strike matters, John Anderson. I'm talking to you. 447 BABIP. So, like, who cares? You know what I mean? Festa spring, like, he's still a really good pitcher. I would not write off Festa or Zebby Matthews. I think both of these guys are going to have significant roles to play this year. The Twins are a very injury-riddled team, and Chris Paddock is not a model of stability or a what do you call it? A paragon of health. So, yeah, I would stick with both those guys. Now, Twins. We're spending a lot of time on the Twins. How long is Royce Lewis going to be out? You see this whole situation here. Willie Castro is going to probably stay second anyway. Brooks Lee playing third. Maybe Brooks Lee moves to second, and Willie Castro is super utility when Royce Lewis is healthy. Word on the street, Royce Lewis has a grade 2 hamstring strain, which is usually like a 4 to 6 week injury. Obviously, he's already going to be missing 2 weeks of spring training here, maybe 2.5. So we may get him at the end of April or the beginning of May. Sometimes those injuries can linger to be like 8 weeks. And with Royce Lewis's health history, it might be like 10 or 12 weeks. So, again, take it all with a grain of salt. I think worst case scenario, he's back in June. But hopefully he's back at the end of April for Mr. Royce Lewis. Now, let us go to the next team. Oh, I have to give you a prospect. My prospect of the year for the Twins is Emmanuel Rodriguez. We can see here that they've got a platoony outfield of Wallner and Larnick and injured Byron Buxton with Harrison Bader as the backup. My guess is if one of these guys gets hurt and Emmanuel Rodriguez is healthy, Emmanuel Rodriguez comes up and Harrison Bader stays as a super sub. Unless it's like a 1 week injury for Buxton or something. Like if he's hurt and he's going to miss 8 weeks, then Emmanuel Rodriguez is going to come up and play in the outfield. So that's what's happening. Now, New York Yankees. This is weird. You have Austin Wells leading off. I saw the Yankees this spring, and Ben Rice was leading off, and Ben Rice looked pretty good from the leadoff position. He had a pretty strong spring as a DH. The dude is huge, by the way. So I don't really understand him leading off or why Austin Wells would lead off. I understand you want to do lefty-righty splits, and Booney's an old-school manager. Ben Rice had a pretty good spring here. You see 5 bombs. 339 OBP. What is Austin Wells' OBP last year? I don't think it was that great. 322. It's okay. 375 this spring. Man, Austin Wells had a really good spring. Look at that. 154 WRC plus this spring. I should have drafted. I have a couple shares. I should have drafted more because he had a really good, strong second half last year. So he was like a target of mine, but I drafted catchers really early this year, and I ended up with a lot of Tyler Stevenson shares. It's my catcher too in 2 catcher leagues. And you saw how that played out. So, injury luck sucks. But anyway, Jazz hitting 5th is weird, I guess. Yankees fans love Jazz. When I was at the Yankees-Cardinals spring training game, it was mostly Yankees fans. It was standing room only. There was, like, nowhere to go. Like, that was the most packed I've ever seen that stadium. And I was talking to a bunch of Yankees fans. They love Jazz. I actually got a Jazz homer on video, and it's on my YouTube. Where like I'm staying next to this Yankees fan lady, and she's like, "This is gonna be a homer," And I'm like, okay. And then boom, there it is. And she's like, I called that. I am bad New York accent, better with Boston. But she's like, I called it. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, you did. Cool. So Jazz. Also notables from my views during spring training. I already mentioned Ben Rice looked really good. Jazz looked really good. Oswaldo Cabrera looked really good when I saw him. Like he had a really good plate approach. Look at this spring here. 310, 370, 452 slash with 2 bombs and 2 steals. Like he looked locked in. So I think Oswaldo Cabrera is actually going to have a pretty solid season this year. I would not really worry too much. And guess what? If he sucks, then you just go trade for Nolan Arenado because Arenado wants to be a Yankee and loves Goldschmidt. So you have worse things that could happen. I saw Cookie pitch. He actually looked really good, and he was throwing pretty high heat. So I think you could do a lot worse than Carrasco, to be honest. Yankees fans, with your injuries here, like he's going to be a nice number 5, I think. Like you could do worse for number 5 pitcher, who's basically free. Jason Dominguez, I saw the dude is freaking ripped, like huge. He looks like he's like a mini Tyler O'Neill. Like he's just so freaking ripped. I don't know how he's so fast in that ripped too. Like he's like a switch hitting mini Tyler O'Neill. Like when I saw him, he's just so freaking ripped. He's gonna have a good year. I think he's gonna go 25-20. George Lombard Jr. put on a ton of weight. I will tell you that I saw him last year around like, I don't know, June or something, June or July in the summer. I saw him last year. And he was maybe 6 foot, like 170 or 180. Or that's his dad. Where's Lombard Jr.? Let's see where he is. 6'2", 190. Okay, I think he was skinnier than that when I saw him. He put on a lot of muscle this year. He looks way bigger, like way more athletic, like strong, not like bigger, like fat, like bigger, like this dude is really, he's probably working out with roidy Jason Dominguez right now. I'm just joking with that, by the way. I'm not saying that Jason Dominguez is on steroids for you serious people. So Lombard definitely filled out. Spencer Jones, the biggest person in the world. I saw him. He came up. He struck out. So, it's not second half yet. So, of course, Spencer Jones is going to strike out until second half, and then he's going to get hot, and then we're all going to fall in love with him again because that's what he does. So, Jason Dominguez is obviously the rookie of the year here. Let's go to the Seattle Mariners, or prospect of the year, or whatever we're calling it, for this team. Seattle Mariners, Matt Brash is supposed to be back in April. So don't forget about Matt Brash. I think he's awesome. Just in case you forgot how good Matt Brash is, let's bring him up here on the screen. For those of you watching on the YouTube, I recommend watching on YouTube. You can follow on. I'm like showing you all this stuff as we're talking here. So Matt Brash, last time we saw him, 25.3 K minus walk rate, 286 Sierra, 120 stuff plus. It's insane. And that was with a 380 BABIP too. Like terrible luck against him. He's still that good. So Matt Brash is awesome. I am happy that he was going to be coming back. I had a bunch of shares last year before his injury. And then Ryan Bliss, this is a guy that could be breaking out this year. He's 25. They traded for him last year. He really didn't do too much. But I don't know. I kind of like him this year as like a late play. Like you see here that they project him on the projections for like a 200 to 220 batting average. All they're doing is looking at what he did last year, and they say, he hit 222 last year. All right, let's just replicate it and plug it in. No. He's fast. I think he's probably more like a 245 hitter, which is fine if you're going to get 10 bombs and 20 or 25 steals. So, like, I think he's more like a 245 hitter, not a 205 or oops, he has him at 205. Come on. Like, he's not a 205 hitter. If you're a 205 hitter, you're not a major leaguer, and you're definitely not a starter, even in the crappy Mariners lineup. Come on. Tampa Bay Rays. This one, I have to give you a prospect. Prospect of the year for the Seattle Mariners is Tyler Locklear, just because, like, I don't know who else they have. Harry Ford, is he going to come up? I don't know. All their other really good players are too far away. I don't think we see Michael Arroyo this year or anything like that, or Lazaro Montes. So, they're like a 2027 or 2026 crew, not a 2025 crew. But maybe we see Harry Ford at some point. But besides that, like, yeah, Locklear is like the only guy. What team are we on? The Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa Bay Rays. We are looking at low and low, low and low, low and low, a low and a low. Which one is which? I do not know. A sandwich of Junior Caminero between those two guys, and both those guys are infamously platoon guys over the course of their history of their careers. But per roster resource, neither will be a platoon guy. I don't really believe that. They have Curtis Mead platooning with Jonathan Aranda at DH. I think there's movement here. I think that Mead plays second, and if he's hitting, then Brandon Lau is on the bench because Lau is terrible against friggin' lefties. So I think Mead plays on those games. I think Mead is going to play a lot. Actually, I think he's going to play more often than like they have him just as a bench platoon, weak side platoon. I think he's going to be more than a weak side platoon. I think he's going to be probably starting like 5 out of 7 games or 4 out of 7 games at least, I would guess, somewhere. So that's the Rays for you. Let's go to the Texas Rangers. The Rays prospect of the year is going to be Carson Williams. Even though I don't think he's up until like the second half, they signed Ha-Seong Kim. Kim's going to play shortstop when he comes up. And then Carson Williams will probably be up at the trade deadline because the Rays are going to try to turn someone. They're not going to make the playoffs because you got a good division of the Red Sox, Yankees, and Orioles. So they're going to trade, even though they just signed Ha-Seong Kim, they're going to trade Ha-Seong Kim, and then Carson Williams will come up. There's my prediction for the Rays. They're going to trade Ha-Seong Kim back to the Padres. How do you like that one? Texas Rangers. How long of a leash do Kumar Rocker and Jack Leiter have? I think that Kumar Rocker is going to be good. I think Jack Leiter is going to walk 2 dudes, and Leiter is going to end up falling back. And instead of being sent down, he'll go to the bullpen. Maybe he becomes the closer, or maybe Teodo becomes the closer, which is why I think they haven't signed David Robertson yet. And Patrick Corbin, is he going to play in? Maybe for a few starts as an innings eater. They're only giving him $1 million, so I doubt he really factors in this year. Like he'll probably make like 8 starts or something like that, 12 starts just to eat some innings, but he sucks. So like I don't see a reason why he would pitch more than that for a team that is looking to make the playoffs. That's all I've got for them. Rookie of their prospect of the year is Kumar Rocker. Toronto Blue Jays, we've got Bo Bichette bouncing back. Look at this spring, man. I just don't like Bichette. 400 batting average, 440 OBP, 733. I'm not buying that. Bo Bichette never plays in my metrics. F scores hate him, just like they hate Ozzy Albies. And it's like, look, this guy's always been good in his career. 290 batting average in his career. He's so much better than I give him credit for. But I just just don't think he's that good. And he's overrated. I mean, like even in his good seasons, he had one amazing season, 29-25. Besides that, his other seasons, he's a 300 hitter, but he's like 20-5, 22-8 or something. So like, I don't think you're never gonna get 25 steals from this guy again. Like your upside on Bo Bichette is 25 homers and like 8 steals, which is, I guess, Albies. Like they're just so similar between Bichette and Albies. Just 1 second, 1 shortstop. Even though like the way they hit, their chase rates are both terrible. They don't walk, which is like probably why I don't like them. But they also both have pretty high zone contact rates despite the bad chase rate. So it's kind of weird. But yeah, I guess he could bounce back. So, I'm having 0 shares. Will Max Scherzer stay healthy is a big question. And then the other big question is, when will Orelvis Martinez come in? I don't like Barger. I don't think he's anything really. Like he's a bench guy. Orelvis Martinez is probably going to take over third at some point this season, would be my guess. When? Nobody knows. Jonathan Lukes, like really, I mean, Nathan Lukes, Jonathan Clase is probably going to take that spot at some point. That's all I got for the Jays. Oh, I have to give you a prospect. Prospect of the year for the Jays is, who did I put there? Orelvis. Okay, there you go. Boom. Orelvis Steroid Martinez is who you get. Now let's go to the National League. We got Arizona Diamondbacks. Justin Martinez just locked in, so he's probably the closer now instead of AJ Puck. Sorry for you AJ Puck people. Jordan Montgomery, like what is up with Jordan Montgomery? Jordan Montgomery, as we bring him up on the Fangraphs, minus 5.9 K minus walk rate this spring. Terrible. They're trying to trade him. Maybe the Rangers trade for him and he goes back and they hope that he gets Rangers luck back. I have him in a couple leagues. I don't really know what to do with him. He was always an above average starter until last season. And now he's just bad again. Is this just like all like World Series hangover? Is this he just hates Arizona and it's like a Sonny Gray Yankee situation? I really don't know. But I think he does need a change of scenery. Now we have Jordan Lawler here with the D-backs not making the team. I don't understand. They talked about how they want him to be the super sub. He had a good spring. Let's pull him up real quick here. Maybe they just want him getting regular plate appearances and they don't see him doing that at the beginning of the season. But he hit 294, 368, 529 this spring. That's a 131 WRC plus with a bomb and 2 steals. Good walk and K rates, 10 to 21. Not bad. I don't get it. I drafted him even in TGFBI because they were like, oh, Lawler's going to be a super sub. He's going to play like 5 positions. I don't know. Hope for injury, I guess, if you're a Lawler person. I like Lawler a lot. He's my prospect of the year for them. And when I wrote my article, when I made him my number 6 guy, I thought he was going to play more. I'd probably put Wilson ahead of him at this point now just because he didn't make the squad. Even if he was super sub, I'm in on that because I think that he's going to play his way to success because he's a good player. Now we're going to go to the Atlanta Braves. Drake Baldwin is their prospect of the year, right? He's the catcher, starting catcher now. Big question here is going to be what's going to happen with his plate appearances when Sean Murphy comes back. You can see here that he's only projected by the projection systems to only have like still 60 games, 200 PAs. He is probably going to stick around, even like like 127 WRC plus 313 batting average. I think he sticks around even after Murphy comes back. I think Trump is just going to be toast Trump. So yeah, I think Baldwin does get decent playing time. I think even when Murphy comes back, it's going to be like a Darno situation. Maybe he gets 300 plate appearances. I think the projection systems are wrong on that. I think he's going to get more like 300 plate appearances. Now on the pitching end, AJ Smith-Shawver, as I like to call him, had a good spring, 27.8 K minus walk rate. And that's in 12 innings. Will he make the team? Or will it be Ian Anderson who's bad? Or roster resource has Anderson in the pen. I think Shawver should make the team. They played around with him enough. He's fine. He's 22, so it seems like he's like 25 because he's been around for so long. He should win the job, but will he? I don't know. I hope. I really have no horse in this race. I have no idea what they're going to do there. So, Chicago Cubbies. When you get to the Cubbies, John Birdie already has 2 steals, so he's already like, everyone's buying him now. He's already like the waiver wire number 1. But he's starting at second base with the Cubs with Horner out. I think eventually he moves to super sub when Horner comes back, and he'll be the Ben Zobrist of the Cubs. 35-year-old multi-position guy moving all over the place. He's going to be this year's Zobrist. So this is the big question I have with the Cubs. Who gets more saves between Ryan Presley and Porter Hodge? Porter Hodge is so freaking good. He's way better than Presley at this point, even though like the walk rate in the spring is terrible, 22.7%. But he had a 36.4% K rate. I love Porter Hodge. I mentioned it on the last podcast that Sarah Sanchez thinks Porter Hodge is going to get more saves than Presley. So just watch out for that. There could be some hidden value in Porter Hodge here. Not like Clevenger hidden value because he's going to be like the primary closer all year, but like some nice hidden value here with Porter Hodge. Am I taking Porter Hodge or Justin Martinez? I'm taking Justin Martinez now after the contract. Am I taking Porter Hodge or AJ Puck? I'm taking Hodge over AJ Puck now, thanks to that Justin Smith contract or Justin Martinez contract. Let's go to the Cincinnati Reds. And in the meantime, I have to give you a Cubs prospect of the year, which is Matt Shaw. That one's easy. So Cincinnati Reds here. Matt McClain hitting the ball harder than before, 112 max EV now from 108 back when he was really good before his injury. So I love Matt McClain. Everybody knows that. I've got like tons of shares of him. Just stay healthy, Matt McClain, this year. Fingers crossed. Hitting in front of LA De La Cruz too, so that's fun. Brady Singer. Looks like we're going to get good Brady Singer this year. Look at this. This spring, 25.5 K minus walk rate in 12 innings. So not quite an AJ Smith shover, but pretty good spring here for Brady Singer. So like I think as long as he can limit the home runs, he's going to be pretty good for them. And he's a ground ball pitcher. He almost has like a 50% ground ball rate every year. So I think he's actually going to play up for the Reds in the stadium. I don't know if he's going to be a superstar or anything, but I think he's going to be good. Like, can he beat Mitch Keller? Yeah. Can he? I think Singer is better than Mitch Keller, honestly. Like, I would take Singer over Mitch Keller. So just, put that in your pipe and smoke it. Cincinnati. I don't know why I said that. It's late. That's why. I'm becoming delirious. Cincinnati Reds. Rhett Lauder is the prospect of the year. Colorado Rockies, as we try to run through this, because I've been talking a lot and my voice is starting to hurt. So, Chase DeLander to make the rotation. It might look like it now. Had 7 Ks. Closer, we've got Tyler Kinley versus Seth Halverson. Roster resource gives it to Kinley. Kinley's had a really nice spring, so he probably does get it, unfortunately, which sucks because I have a lot of Halverson shares, and I was kind of leaning on that, but Kinley's not good. He's very bad, like the last 2 seasons, so I don't know why they're going to get – I don't even know. Why is a guy with a 6.19 ERA and a 70 stuff plus on his fastball your primary closer candidate? But, whatever. You do you, Rockies. Halverson, not a good spring. So makes sense that Kinley's going to win the job, but Halverson will probably take it at some point, would be my guess. Now, Zach Veen is going to make the team. This all depends on how much the Rockies really, really love Sam Hilliard, because they really, really love Sam Hilliard. He's been around forever. So if they really, really, really love Sam Hilliard, then probably no. If they really, really don't care about Sam Hilliard, who, let's see, how good was he this spring? Sam Hilliard, a minus 20 WRC plus this spring. Then no, he shouldn't. Zach Veen definitely earned the role on the team, and he hasn't been sent down yet. So, like, Zach Veen should be on the team. It would be fun if he was, like, swip-swapping with Nolan Jones and Jordan Beck in the outfield. But unless there's an injury, until Chris Bryant gets hurt and, like, someone has to go play DH and, you move things around, then probably it is what it is, and Jordan Beck gets the first shot. So Zach Veen, no, I don't think. LA Dodgers, are Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts okay? I do not have the answer to that. I'm asking you that question. Let me know. That's all I have for the Dodgers. Oh, I've got to give you prospects. Rockies, DeLander, obviously. Dodgers, Dalton Rushing, despite him being blocked in like multiple angles, outfield and catcher. Miami Marlins, we've got, like, they did the very thing you would hope they wouldn't do. No Agustin Ramirez, no Davison De Los Santos, no Max Acasa, none of their prospects. I don't understand. Spring, I saw these guys in the spring breakout game. Davison De Los Santos was taking walks. He was taking pitches. This is a guy who's always been super aggressive with the bat. And the Marlins are definitely teaching patience, because he and Agustin Ramirez were both taking a lot of pitches when I saw them in the spring breakout game. Pretty impressive from both of them. Agustin Ramirez is going to be a dude. Big dude. Definitely looks like a catcher, not a first baseman. So I think he's 6'8" catcher, because he's like 6 foot and wide and big like a catcher. But he is a really good hitter. Really freaking good hitter. I'll tell you that. And Davison De Los Santos should have hit a home run. There's one that he hit, but the wind blew it back in. But that should have been gone. And that was against Quinn Matthews. So Davison De Los Santos, I think he's made improvements. Welsh and I have talked about it. He's still really young. People forget how young he is. It's not like a CES thing. He is like CES, but he's a couple years younger, so there's more time for him to grow. Graham Pauley, I don't think matters. Didn't look very good. But Max Acasta, very impressive. I saw Jared Serna too. Serna was not impressive. I don't care about Jared Serna as a prospect. But Max Acasta was very, very impressive. They had him hitting third in the spring breakout game. Bring him up here real quick. Let's see how good he did. He played the spring 273, 429, 545. And Kedri Vargas didn't even start, which actually put me back because I thought Kedri Vargas was better than Max Acosta at the time of the trade. And I have him higher in my rankings, but like Max Acosta, I could tell by what they did with him that they love him. And he was really good this spring, despite having a 100% home run to fly ball rate and only one homer. So that means he only hit one fly ball the entire spring. But he looked good in the spring game when I saw him. Now pitchers, big differences from when I saw these guys last year. Because I saw Tommy White and Noble Meyer, and I got video of both. If you want to check it out on the Tim Kanak, you can find my video of the spring breakout game from right behind home plate. Got some really good shots of White, Meyer. But Tommy White, so much better. His fastball is up a few ticks. I saw him last year. He was only hitting like 95. He's hitting 99 from the left side. I think he is a dude. Like he is my biggest riser out of anyone that I saw this spring. Like he just looked so good. He looked better than Quinn Matthews. I think he's going to be better than Quinn Matthews. And I'm telling you that as a Cardinals fan. Like Tommy White is the real deal. Like this guy could be Shane McClanahan. Really freaking impressive what I saw from Tommy White. So yeah, I'm really in on Tommy White. Doc was right. There you go, Doc. And Tommy White, I'm probably moving into my top 40 at least, maybe my top 25 even. Next prospect update. So that's my biggest riser for all my prospects. So take that for what you will. Noble Meyer, still insane stuff, but the command looked so much worse than when I saw him last year. I don't know what happened with him. I think the issue is this. His pitches have so much movement on it that he can't control it. Like his sweeper is just, it goes across the entire zone, which is, it's silly. Like it's a cartoonish watching it because everyone, like if you don't know what's coming, you're going to swing at that thing and you're going to miss bad because it has so much sweep to it. But I think it's a problem. I think he actually needs to tighten his breakers up. He has too much movement on the breakers, and that is what's leading to his poor command. Because his stuff is ridiculous and the movement is ridiculous. Like it's Mizurowski, like basically is what's going on with him. Insane stuff from Noble Meyer, but like the command was way off from where I saw him last year. And the thing is, like his stuff was actually, I don't know if it's better. Like he had more movement on his stuff when I saw him in spring breakout versus when I saw him against Quinn Matthews, or when I saw him last year. When did I see him? I actually saw him against the Yankees and against Lombard back in like June or July last year. And he was on point then. Like the command was on point. But the command, when I saw him during the spring breakout, not there at all. He was just throwing his stuff and it was moving like crazy, but it was just so in and out of the zone. So I'm going to be down on Noble, even though I love him still because the stuff is insane. I'm probably moving him to like in the 60s or 70s, and Tommy White is up in like top 30 range for me. Milwaukee Brewers, like I said, Shane McClanahan maybe. Milwaukee Brewers, Garrett Mitchell. I got to go to the Brewers page now. Marlins prospect of the year for redraft is Agustin Ramirez. Milwaukee Brewers, I love Augustine, by the way. Milwaukee Brewers, Garrett Mitchell hitting cleanup. Love that. I love Garrett Mitchell this year. Is Reese Hoskins back? A bunch of homers this spring. Will Craig Yoho break camp? Roster Resource says no, but he's really freaking good. Let's look him up real quick. Craig Yoho had a 33.3 K- walk this spring, 1.23 ERA, and that's in 7 innings, and he's still up. So I think he should break camp. He's really good. Deserves to be up. He probably should be the closer. So probably won't be, but probably should be. I think he works he starts the season on the team and works his way up to the bullpen to be the closer by the end of the year. I think that Logan Henderson does not break camp. I think it's Tyler Alexander because they don't care about Tyler Alexander, and I think Brandon Woodruff is really close. Apparently, Brandon Woodruff is going to travel with the team instead of playing minor league games for their first series. So I think that means Woodruff might be up in mid-April, mid-ish April, mid to late April, and he's just going to travel with the team apparently, at least at first for the first series. So that tells us something. Why are you going to call up one of your top pitching prospects just for a few starts? Makes no sense. So That's what's happening, I think. I love Logan Henderson, but I just don't think it's his time. New York Mets, you've got Brett Beatty at second base. Maybe he likes playing second base better than third base because he had a really strong spring, 333, 400, 622 with 2 bombs and a steal. So, yeah, Beatty, good spring. Luis Angel Acuna is on the bench. Now we're going to go to Philadelphia Phillies. My wife is mad at me, so we got to wrap this up here. Philadelphia Phillies, Jordan Romano, strong spring. No change is good for this team. I say that because they were talking about how they need to make some changes, get rid of Castellanos, get rid of Bohm. They didn't do anything. They added Kepler. That's it. Pittsburgh Pirates, Eddie Rodriguez had a good spring. Is he back? Maybe. Is he going to start? I don't understand why they would bring him up to be on the bench, but he hit 360 this spring with a bomb. So, I think he plays a lot. I'll say that. I think he plays a lot. They have Carmen Lodzinski here in SP5. I think if Jared Jones's second opinion is bad, Thomas Harrington gets that spot. I think if it's not a big issue, then maybe they don't because they think Jones will be back soon. But I think if Jones is out for a significant amount of time, then this is Thomas Harrington's spot right here for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And prospect of the year for Pittsburgh for the Pirates, this is a fun one. It actually is Thomas Harrington instead of Bubba Chandler because I think that Harrington is going to get a lot more playing time. So take that for what it's worth. San Diego Padres prospect of the year is going to be Tirso Ornelas, who I think will be up by mid-May because I don't think Jason Hayward's that good. And I don't think Gavin Sheets is that good. So I think Tirso Ornelas is going to take one of those roles by then. This rotation is a joke. I don't know what they're doing here. I don't think Yu Darvish is hurt that badly, or else they would be signing people. Wouldn't you go sign Lance Lynn or something if you need anyone? But then Steven Kolek. I mean, come on. What are you doing here, Padres? You can't be that cheap that you can't sign Lance Lynn for $1 million. Catchers, Elias Diaz versus Luis Campusano too. So I don't know who's going to get the most PAs there. Giants, we have this SP5 question here. We got Hayden Birdsong versus Landon Roop versus Kyle Harrison. It makes the most sense contract-wise for Harrison to be the starter because he has the most playing time or the most service time already. It makes the most sense, I think, from an age perspective and if they want the best for Landon Roop to be the starter. And from a long-term perspective, Hayden Birdsong has the highest upside out of all those guys. And Hayden Birdsong is younger, though, than Roop. So, if it was me, I would have Roop in there. And that's not just because I have a ton of shares of him, but he's 3 years older than Birdsong. And Birdsong could use some seasoning in AAA to harness that command a little bit, despite having 0 walks this spring. He earned it. So, if you go Birdsong, you can't go wrong. But I think I would put Roop there because Roop also had a strong spring, and he's much older. Cardinals supposed to go 6-man rotation, or might go 6-man rotation. Could be McGreevy. They've mentioned it could be Liberatore. That'd be silly for me. Liberatore has never been good as a starter. McGreevy is maybe the Cardinals' second best starter to Sonny Gray right now. So makes no sense. Victor Scott, you can see, looks like he's going to play center field. Katie Blue thinks he's going to make the team. So I think Victor Scott might start in center, and he should because he had a really strong spring. He was the best Cardinals player I saw hitting wise, that 359, 3 homers, 5 steals. Just freaking ridiculous spring for Victor Scott. Superstar spring. Prospects, I saw a bunch of Cardinals prospects. Quinn Matthews, I saw at the spring breakout game. He didn't look as good as I saw him last year. He actually lost some ticks off of his fastball, and he was throwing different pitches. He was not really throwing the slider as much. He's throwing the sinker a bunch when I saw him, and the changeup. It was mostly fastball, sinker, changeup, and the fastball he's not throwing as hard as when I saw him last year. So maybe when I saw him, and when I saw this, I think, is he dropping the velocity because he doesn't have anything to prove right now and he's just saving it for the season and he knew he wasn't going to break camp? Or is it that he doesn't have that velocity anymore? Because at the end of the season last year, he was also only throwing 94, not 96 when I saw him. So I don't know. JJ Weatherholt, I got a video of a home run of his, the Apotaco home run. You can watch it. Strong at bats, really solid at bats from JJ when I saw him. Takoa Roby looked really good. He's back. Saw him twice. Was phenomenal both times. Saw Cooper Jerpy twice. Ridiculous stuff. tons of Ks and tons of walks. But Jerpy has insane stuff. I don't know if he's going to make it a starter, but if he doesn't, he's a closer. Like he's going to be Helsley's placement if he can't make it as a starter because his stuff is that good. Luis Gastelum, just ridiculous changeups. He's going to be a high leverage bullpen guy. Jimmy Crooks, great defense, terrible hitting from what I saw. I saw him like 3 or 4 times this spring and like just no hits. I don't know why. Maybe he needs to wear some gloves. I was messing with him actually. I talked to him and Thomas JC at the game, and they were both like sitting right next to each other. And I'm like, okay, so they make you guys sit next to each other because you don't wear batting gloves, both of you. And they laughed at that. Matt Koperniak, great spring. Might be better than Chase Davis. Matt Koperniak might be like the next Lars Nootbaar for the Cardinals, or like these random outfielders, Lane Thomas or whatever, that come up and no one heard of them until they come up. But Matt Koperniak, name to watch. Leonardo Bernal, that's the name of the catcher, a catcher that the Cardinals like. And then Yairo Padilla and Raniel Rodriguez. I talked to both of those guys. They were both DSL stars last year. Padilla definitely grew. I saw him at the spring game. He actually had a sacrifice hit. He's like 6'4". So like I had heard that he was like 6'1" and then grew. And he actually, yes, he did grow. The dude is like 6'4" now from a shortstop. And he's only like 17 years old. And I asked both those guys because I talked to them. I was like, where are you playing this year? Are you going to be in Aceball here so I can watch you all the time? And they laughed and they said they didn't know yet when I asked them. So like hopefully they're in Aceball and I can watch them in Jupiter. And I'll get ton of good video of those guys for you this year. So I hope so. Cardinals love them because the Cardinals actually kind of like ranked their prospects. They had this like autograph signing that I went to too after the game and brought my son to get his baseball sign. And they had those guys ahead of on like the tiers on the bench. Those two were sitting in front of Chase Davis. So they like these guys, I think, better than Chase Davis now at this point. Washington Nationals. Sorry, Chase. Washington Nationals. Paul DeYoung starting at third base. Nathaniel Lowe, rough spring. Soroka, bad spring, but he's still starting. I guess they're just trying to get some value out of him. And DJ Hurst sent down so that Soroka can start and be bad, I guess. I think Soroka will be best off in the bullpen and Hurst comes up and starts. That's probably what's going to happen after a month when Soroka is not good as a starter, would be my guess. Nationals prospect of the year is obviously, what's his face? Dylan Cruz. Cardinals is obviously Quinn Matthews. So I think I gave you everyone there, and I got to go because my wife's texting me. So peace out, everybody. Thanks for watching and listening. We'll see you next time. Peace out.